Most men lose respect long before they realize it. Not when they fail, not when they say no, but the moment they start explaining themselves. If you feel the need to justify every choice, every boundary, every silence, something is already broken, and people feel it before you do. You live in a world that demands reasons, messages asking, "Why didn't you reply?" Looks that say, "Explain yourself." Workplaces where every decision must be defended. Relationships where silence is treated like guilt. So you talk, you explain, you fill the space, and slowly, respect leaves the room. Most men don't notice it happening. They think clarity earns respect. They think being understood is the same as being valued. They think more words mean more control. It doesn't. Over-explaining is not confidence. It is fear wearing the mask of logic. You see it everywhere. A man apologizing for decisions he doesn't regret. A man justifying boundaries he has the right to set. A man defending himself against accusations that were never proven. He keeps talking because silence feels dangerous. He believes that if he stops explaining, he will lose approval. So he trades strength for reassurance. This is the modern trap. You are taught to express everything, to clarify every feeling, to prove your intentions, to soften every edge. But masculine strength does not come from expression. It comes from restraint. The inner conflict begins here. Part of you knows something is wrong. You feel weaker after explaining. You feel smaller after defending yourself. You sense that the more you talk, the less weight your words carry. Yet you keep doing it, because silence feels like surrender. Because not explaining feels rude. Because you were trained to believe that if someone misunderstands you, it is your job to fix it. That belief is false. Most men fail at this point. They react instead of choosing. They speak instead of observing. They explain instead of standing still. They confuse emotional relief with strength. Here is the quiet truth. The man who explains too much is trying to control how he is seen. And the man who tries to control perception has already given away his power. Respect does not come from being understood. It comes from being grounded. The turning point is not a technique. It is a realization. You begin to see that not every question deserves an answer. Not every emotion deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. You realize that your calm is worth more than your clarity. Strong men do not rush to be understood. They allow others to sit with uncertainty. They allow silence to do its work. This is not arrogance. It is discipline. You stop explaining not because you are angry, but because you are stable. You stop justifying not because you don't care, but because you do. Care begins with self-respect. When you are solid inside, you don't need to convince anyone. Your actions already speak. Your presence already answers questions. Think about the men you respect. They don't overtalk. They don't defend every move. They don't chase agreement. They decide. They act. They remain calm when challenged. And when pressed, they respond simply. Few words. Clear tone. No emotion leaking out. That is power. The climax comes when you test this silence. Someone questions your choice. You feel the old urge to explain. Your chest tightens. Your mind starts building arguments. And then you stop. You breathe. You answer with one sentence. Or you don't answer at all. The room changes. At first, it feels uncomfortable. But then something shifts. People listen differently. They lean in. They fill the silence with their own assumptions. And for the first time, you are not chasing respect. You are allowing it to form. This is where self-mastery shows itself. Not in dominance, not in aggression, but in emotional control. You are no longer pulled by the need to be liked. You are guided by the need to be aligned. Aligned with your values. Aligned with your decisions. Aligned with your inner calm. You understand that explanation is a tool, not a reflex. And like all tools, it must be used sparingly. When you over-explain, you reveal insecurity. When you remain composed, you signal certainty. Certainty is attractive. Certainty is stable. Certainty does not beg. The resolution is simple, but not easy. You stop speaking to be validated. You speak only when it adds weight. You accept that some people will misunderstand you, and you let them. Because a man who knows himself does not fear being misread. He fears losing control of himself. Strength is quiet. Respect is earned in silence. And masculinity, at its core, is discipline. Not discipline over others, discipline over the self. When you no longer feel the urge to explain, you will notice something rare. You are calm. You are steady. You are no longer performing. You are simply standing. And that is when respect returns.